Time is it's set in Ireland, where my family come from, and it's called Inishmore. And Inishmore is one of the 3 Aran Islands. And if you've ever been there, you know they sit on the west coast of Ireland, like jewels in the Atlantic. If you get sunshine crossing the islands, wonderful golden light, much beloved by artists apparently. But also, Inishmore has a particular history in that Cromwell billeted some troops there. And after the hostilities finished, some of the troops stayed on and married into the islanders. So the physiognomy of the islanders has been influenced by that. Here is the poem. Summer returns to the west, light refracted through crystal, paddling in the surf on the western edge of Europe, our bony feet pale as salmon bewitched by ghosts. Summer returns to the west, our lives weary of death return to us, cycling till we run out of road, stopping for Guinness, bewitched by thirst. Inishmore, Inishmore, Inishmore. I repeat this mantra, asleep on the beach, running grey volcanic sand through bony fingers, skeletons of Cromwell soldiers almost within reach. History's crowded solitude, humming in this untrafficked place. Inishmore, Inishmore, Inishmore. Given the week that's in it with Valentine's Day, this is a love poem. It's called Your Heart is of Polished Glass. Your heart is of polished glass. I can see through it to a green and lilac garden where silver fish swim in a lake on the first day of the first summer. And I can sense the beat of your heart in the sighing of pines and the wintry crisp of footsteps going hunting in a faraway land. Your heart is of polished glass. I hold it in my hand as though it were loose change waiting for newspapers on a Sunday morning. I can taste it on the melting butter of fresh bread and breathe it through gossamer frost in the October park. Your heart is of polished glass. When you are sleeping, it is still as the first minutes of Christmas. It echoes in the wild bowl of the first world. Its song is of blue mountains and indigo birds and motor cars that never reach their destination. This is supermarkets have apparently become quite a good place for people to start relationships. And when I wrote this poem, around the time that story broke, I called it Safeway Sex, which I thought was quite a good pun. But unfortunately Morrison's have taken over the chain. But anyway, the poem still exists. Love grew amongst the aisles when their trolleys bumped at the intersection between sauces and pickles, biscuits and cereal. Their smiles, chilled at first, grew ambient, setting passion to simmer gently for 4 to 5 minutes before removing from the heat, proceeding to the drudgery of kitchen cleaners, cooking foils and clothes wash. At frozen foods they paused. Life is not all candlelit dinners. Sometimes there is only time to shove Linda McCartney in the micro, waves lapping its shore edge, his face at rest on her breasts. Was it confectionery that sweetened them? Did softly lit wine racks loosen their tongues, their clothes? They won't say how love grew amongst the aisles, how 2 trolleys became one, a gondola of tomatoes became choral cantatas, how ribbons of tissue became ribbons on a rose. They won't say, because their love remains unspoken. Their yearning cannot run to action. They long to winter under a distant sun, check out of this weekly ritual, become 2, forever priced as 1. Today is our anniversary as well. This is the 10th anniversary of the day when 2 million people gathered in London to protest against the coming war in Iraq. The war went ahead, of course, and something like 200,000 civilians died over the next 3 years. And of course, this has become very prevalent, that civilians have become the target in conflict. So this is a poem about a conflict that may have started that trend. This was the firebombing of Guernica by the fascists in April 1937, when there were no combatants at all in the little town in the Basque Country, but 1,600 civilians died. The poem refers to Chillida, Eduardo Chillida, who's a Basque sculptor, and it talks also about the oak of democracy, which is the tree that parliamentarians in Guernica have traditionally gathered around to make decisions for the past several hundred years. So this is Guernica. How did it feel to see the bombers arrive, hundreds of death darts bearing grief, the world turning away as you suffered, as your streets and your homes were destroyed? How did you bear heat, suffocating your cries, that left you no lungs and no air, skies showing no pity, the mountains powerless to help? You were sacrificed to evil, we could not reach out, could not pull you up. Oh Guernica, Guernica, how you suffered, how the fire seared your citizens alive. It's so humbling to come here today, find your valley of peace so alive. The hilltop sculptures by Chillida and more are your protecting angels and eyes. They beat back the darkness and nourish hope's flame, as powerful as peace, as gentle as rain. We stand by your oak of democracy, the symbol that survived all these years. Oh Guernica, Guernica, we honour this tree, we water your tree with our tears. I'm going to finish my first set with this next poem. I should explain, by the way, that you'll see every poet in both halves of the evening as well. And I thought I couldn't let this occasion go. Reg Presley, the lead singer out of the Trogs, died a week and a half ago, and so this is for Reg, who came from Wallington, which is quite close to where I live. Wild thing. 'Twas wonderful that someone called Reg could be a rock star. With his rounded Hampshire vowels and passion for crop circles, how could you not love the Trogs? A name that conjured the Neanderthal and rhymed with logs. Love is all around, as Reg leaves his mortal incarnation to take up residency in heaven. Touring optional, a new album not ruled out. Don't disappoint us, Reg, shake it all about. Okay, thank you very much indeed. I'll return like a bad penny later on. I'd like to introduce now a poet that hasn't performed at Dodo Modern Poets here in the Poetry Cafe before, so he's very welcome. It's Andy V. Frost. He's been performing and